Hey, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Łukasz and welcome to the AsyncAPI community meeting. Before we start, please keep in mind that this meeting is being recorded for future generations. So it's going to be uploaded to YouTube. So yeah, take it into account if you have problems with that. So yeah, before we jump into usual items on the agenda, we always also first give a moment to folks that joined for the first time, or maybe you just have some specific question you'd like to ask before we jump into usual agenda items, so you don't have to wait with the answer. So that's the best moment. Like, anyone wants to introduce yourself or just ask some question to the community?
I'll go first. So Todd Beats, Director of Product Solutions at Synadia, and very interesting topic to the NAS community and Synadia as well. So happy to be here. Super interested in AsyncAPI.
Awesome. Welcome, Todd.
Yeah, thank you.
Great to have you.
Yeah. Yeah. So next, me. Just let me know. I'm audible perfectly.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah. So I am Abir. I'm a CS student, and I'm contributing to AsyncAPI CLI and trying to make it in a God mode. So I'm really happy to be part of this community, and thanks to Lucas and the team who has been building an open source culture and like adding a good value to the whole community. Thank you.
Welcome and thank you for kind words. Anyone else wants to add something before we jump into the core? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so first things first, one of the agenda items is super easy to share. It's just my private advertisement. So you probably saw it already, but yeah, for folks watching just the recording, if you'd like to learn how AsyncAPI grew in 2021, we just released a kind of analytics of the numbers for the initiative, so you can check out how we grew on different platforms. That kind of indicates the growth of the community. So I just pasted the link to the blog post, so you can have a look later, but basically probably just scroll and see the diagrams and the numbers and the percentage. Not much sense to read my content. So that's the first item from the agenda, and the second is the most important, I think, is the Google Summer of Code and other events. So let me just make sure that we're all on the same page, like you have the context of the topic. So let me just share a link. On 7th of December last year, I posted a discussion item, like a proposal for things that we could do as a whole group to scale the size of AsyncAPI community. Because like before working on the article I just mentioned, I already knew that we grew a lot. So I was thinking about like what the activities we could take as a group to scale our approach that we currently had in last years, and make sure that we can actually handle the growth like a pro. And there were 3 items mentioned in this proposal for the for like main building scaling goals for 2022, and one of them is participating in Google Summer of Code, but not only Google Summer of Code. So if you recall, last year 2021, it was our first time we as a organization contributed to Google Summer of Code by providing ideas, mentors, and then enabling folks that just started in open source to learn to code, to learn AsyncAPI, and also like do something meaningful for the project. It turned out pretty cool. As a result, we have really awesome new community members in the group. Like one of them is on the call, it's Kuda. So we want to do the same this year, but on a higher scale, because Google Summer of Code, it's not the entire year, it's just a few months. So we could try this year to do a full year calendar of different events where we participate and attract different contributors. So I prepared let me share a screen maybe. Can you see it? It should be like Google Sheet. Okay, cool. Is it like readable? Should I make it larger?
Can you zoom in just a little bit more?
Yeah, let me try. How about now?
Oh yeah, cool. Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if I would be a designer, I would probably show it much better, but I'm not. So I'm a simple Excel user. So you can see here what's the most important in this timeline is the year, months that you can see here. And then on the left, you can see different activities, different, I'm not even sure how to name it, like different organizations, different events, different whatever name, like you name it. And I tried to like kind of map all the deadlines that we have to fulfill, like when we can apply as AsyncAPI, then when really coding happens, or in case of Google Season of Docs, when writing happens. And it's not like, it's definitely not something final, especially that you can see some blank months when we can fill in events. So I would definitely, if you know already some events that could go into these months, then let's figure out, like, we have all these discussions in the discussion that I linked in the chat. But the most important is to notice these that I think are like the most important. So Hacktoberfest, like it's happening every year. It's just 1 month. It's a good timing to get really easy issues to fix with the community. We participated in it for 2 years in a row, and it was always like 30 issues at least solved. Then OpenForce, it's something we did not participate in before. It's so that was proposed to AsyncAPI by Hargun. So she is one of the new contributors of AsyncAPI, and she organizes OpenForce, and it's taking place in March, entire month. So it's not as big as Google Summer of Code, but it also is not as small as Hacktoberfest. So it's like we just have to provide some issues this month. So like issues that somebody can work on throughout the entire month. So these are not issues that are easy. I would, of course, basing on my opinion on the difficulty of the issues, I would say it's just, it's about moderate issues. One of moderate issues example would be like Kuda created this optimizer library, and I think in 1 month someone could easily add a optimizer to the CLI as an issue for OpenForce. So then outreachy, that's something I looked at because actually I'm not sure if you're aware. It's always good to remind you folks that we have this important discussion here in the community about bringing more women into the tech in AsyncAPI. So Outreachy, I proposed Outreachy here because they have a proof that 95% of the mentees that apply to contribute through Outreachy is women. So if we apply and provide mentorship, it's a good chance that we can help more women to join the tech and AsyncAPI. And there are 2 slots a year. One, we're already late because it's early January, and it would anyway conflict with other. So the slot would end, like it's the discussion about Outreachy starts after GSOC, basically. So it's a perfect event to participate in the second part of the year. And 2 very important events for now to focus on is Google Season of Docs and Google Summer of Code. So we will definitely apply for these because we know we have mentors that would like to mentor. I also want to contact all the TSC members if they are interested in mentoring, but we have like at least, I counted 6 mentors or 7 mentors for now already from our side, and I bet we can get more folks interested in mentoring, especially probably the folks that participated as mentees last year. So yeah, Google Season of Docs, we still have time to apply. Google Summer of Code, it's this month. I'm gonna figure out this week how to do it, like what's needed, like what information has to be provided before the deadline. But again, like if you already plan to be a mentor and you would like to mentor ideas that you have, please, yeah, start thinking about ideas. We already have GSOC dedicated channel on Slack, so please join it. We already have figured out a way how to mark issues as issues for GSOC. And last but not least, tomorrow there will be dedicated live stream about GSOC and other events, like more detailed information about what I just shared with you, like a Q&A session. So definitely please join if you're interested in more like detailed discussion. And yeah, now that's all from my side. And yeah, definitely please hit your questions. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So my first question is, I just joined the temp GSOC 2022 Slack channel. I understood that that's just for Google Season of Code. Is that correct?
The Google Summer of Code, yeah.
Google, oh, right. I can't read. Google Summer of Code. Are we opening, or is there already a channel for Google Season of Docs?
No, definitely we need to create one. And also like this one that is just temporary to sync the work, but yeah, okay. Feel free to create it.
Okay, I was going to, okay, yeah, I'll do that and ask you information about how to do it online. My second question was, the Google Season of Docs, do you want me to apply for that so that you're not the one doing everything?
I hoped you're gonna ask.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be
so lovely. Then I'll,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll just ask you more about how to do that offline so that I don't take up the call time.
Yeah, let's figure out like, so something to add, something that maybe some of you folks don't know, like last year when we applied for Google Summer of Code, we were not actually accepted as AsyncAPI, but when we applied, we were not yet part of Linux Foundation. But we managed to get into Google Summer of Code because Postman was accepted. So a few of us work for Postman. So that's how we bypassed hacked the system, let's say. But this year we're gonna try to apply again as AsyncAPI, and I think by proving how useful we are for the event, I hope that they will accept us. But again, I already know that we can use the backdoor, the Postman backdoor again if we need it this year. And for Google Season of Docs, Alejandra, I don't know any backdoor, like any like different solution in case we would not be accepted as Google Season of Docs. So we probably have to like research maybe.
I have a friend, a really good friend in Google Cloud Developer Relations, and I think I know a few other people in Google. So I can just message them and, basically bother them to death until they give me all the information. I might learn about more tricks maybe.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome. So at least one event I can just forget about it, and you're gonna handle that.
Okay, but if it doesn't work and it fails, like, don't blame me. Still blame Lucas. I think I like that more.
Definitely. If there's a failure, always you can blame me. So yeah, any other questions about these?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So the question is, are we also having to planning to have AsyncAPI Hackathon on the timeline of this particular schedule?
You mean the hackathon like we did last year?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't know anyone at AsyncAPI, let's say, initiative among TSC members who would lead this topic. Last year, I pushed for having a conference combined with hackathon, but this year I'm not pushing. So my full, me personally, my full focus is on the conference itself. So at the moment there are no plans to do the hackathon, but the thing is, it's like AsyncAPI is community driven. So if there's interest, and I actually liked the outcome of the hackathon from last year, but it's just a lot of work to organize.
Yeah.
So if there's a group of folks that want to organize it under the AsyncAPI umbrella, I don't see why not. It's just a matter of power force.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so just to summarize this topic, again, tomorrow is the live stream. I just read the comment in the chat from Alejandra. Thank you for distracting me, Alejandra. Just to summarize the topic, tomorrow is the live stream where we will answer in details about every event, like what really OpenForce is, what kind of issues we need to prepare as maintainers. There will be more detailed discussion about Google Summer of Code, like what rules we agreed on in the channel. So it's basically a session where we will discuss all the things, and then I will also create some kind of information for maintainers, so they can join and participate as well as mentors, because I don't think we will have issues with candidates as mentees, because there are plenty of people already in the GSOC channel, and I think we're gonna have a lot of folks interested. Yeah, Abir.
Yeah, so just a question there, are we planning to have some moderators or POCs where my contributors can reach out for different projects that we'll be putting in OpenForce 2022?
You mean moderators in their Discord channel, or?
Yeah, and that we will be representing AsyncAPI, something like that.
Yeah. So last time when I talked with Hargun about this event, what I've heard is that we could avoid being in the Discord channel and provide like as an alternative, provide just our Slack, and that would be my at least preference as a maintainer, to not just go to another channel. At least I'm not using Discord.
Exactly.
But if there's someone who could like always be there and who's experienced with Discord, the most important is, I think, and can like be there just to tell people, okay, if you're asking about AsyncAPI, go to this Slack, then it would be
better.
It would be awesome. So we don't have any delegate, but yeah, if it comes to the whole organization from our side, I'm definitely, if there's no one else, I'm taking the responsibility here.
Yeah, sure. Like if it's needed and based on time zone, we can do it together. If
Okay,
needed.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note. Now you're never gonna run away from me. Thank you.
Nice.
Okay. Any other questions to this topic?
No, that's all.
Okay, so let me stop sharing. So the last topic from my agenda, also super important, is the conference, this year conference. Yeah, where to start even, like it's a huge topic. So basically, like last year, when during the conference, the online conference, we surveyed people, 70-something% of folks answered they would like to have an event that is like a hybrid event, so online and in person. And I think it's at this stage, like when, like me personally, last year I didn't like to have in-person conference because COVID was still at a stage where it would not be fair with other folks from other countries. But I think that this year it's getting like, yeah, I don't want to say that it's getting better with COVID. I don't think it's predictable. But I think we can try to make to organize the event, the in-person event. And the biggest problem here is, and I had initial call with one person from Linux Foundation. The biggest issue we have here with organizing in-person event is that we don't really know how many people will really come. So it's you can imagine organizing in-person event, it costs. So definitely doesn't make sense to organize event for 2,000 people, for example. So there is a, let's say, a not green light, you say, like it's a white light in the tunnel. So there is an option for us to combine AsyncAPI event with other Linux Foundation events. So in September, Linux Foundation organizes in Europe, in Dublin, organizes a event called Open Source Summit, and they do it 13th to 16th of September. I just send a link in the chat. And we could, like, because they already have a venue rented, and they have, and so they could like we could like pay less because we would use the same venue, but like 2 days before the event. So we would basically have an event on Sunday and Monday. So it would be attractive for 2 reasons. Like, it's cheaper, and it's like we all, like in AsyncAPI, we're trying to be very strong in open source. Like like fix some things with open source that we don't think are good. For example, the way we handle the open governance, and kind of makes sense to combine us also with an open source summit. And might be that people that go for open source summit would also decide to actually come earlier and come to AsyncAPI conference, especially the contributor summit that we would combine with the event. So that's something to consider. The problem is we don't have much time to decide. So as far as I know, there are other initiatives like ours that know about this option. So the organization that decides first wins, basically. And yeah, the interesting fact about this venue is that we would have 150 spots, and it's one big large room. So it's an event that keeps people closer. Like I mean, it's not that you have 3 tracks and people are lost in corridors, but it's actually one track. I mean, not sure what's your experience with conferences, but there's one conference that I attend every year in Poland, and it's done like this, and it's the best event ever because it's like it's much easier to meet people and talk to them after talks. But yeah, like, what do you think? Like, how we can, because I was thinking that we could like using our newsletter subscription, maybe we could send a survey to folks that subscribe to newsletter, asking them if they would be interested with in-person event, and also if the timing is good for them to, like, because otherwise how do we decide like if we should combine with them? Like you know what I'm trying to what I'm asking for? Like basically it's Tuesday, and let's say Friday we want to send them information that we're joining them. Like, what's the best way to make a decision about it? What do you think?
I have a question.
Yeah.
As an initiative, were you hoping to talk to them as a sponsor, or were you hoping to submit talks on behalf of AsyncAPI, or how exactly? I feel like I lost that.
Oh, sorry. So it it would be totally different. Like, it would be AsyncAPI conference. It would be branded as AsyncAPI conference. It's just that it would be in the same venue, just 2 days before the event. So it basically just means that it's cheaper for us, and that's it. So that's the only reason why we should consider them as an option, to not organize the first in-person event like fully on our own using our budget, but do it with this event. But it's AsyncAPI Conf. It's like it would be like Sunday, Monday AsyncAPI Conf, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday it's open source summit. And I'm not sure if they would. Might be that they would like advertise it somehow, like cross advertise, like, yeah, if you want to join AsyncAPI Conf, keep in mind that 2 days later we have another event in the same location, for example. Make sense?
Oh, all this time I thought that we were trying to decide if we wanted to apply and go to the open source summit in Europe.
Oh,
so I guess I think I got really confused. I definitely missed some of the application.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's on me. I think there's just so many Slack threads that I probably didn't read them right.
No. So it's like, I don't think we ever will like discuss if we should go there as speakers, like it's individual, let's say, for contributors to apply. If it comes to sponsorship, like if we can sponsor them, like I don't think we have large enough budget to spend money as sponsors, but it's mainly like to join them, to just lower the cost of organizing the conference. Like it's because it's going to be much cheaper, because they will have already have the venue, they will already have the catering, at least in Polish we say catering, like the food delivery for the event participants. They will already have answers on how about technicians that will handle the conference, probably streaming as well. So it's going to be much cheaper to use these services if we simply combine it. Like
to have that overview written down of it, like exactly which benefits do it gain from, for example, selecting something like that.
It's not written down anywhere. I can write it down, definitely.
It's more if we have to like vote for whether we should
yeah.
do it or not, right? It's more like
yeah. So
what
definitely
exactly is it we're choosing?
So definitely, depending on how we decide to vote, let's I'll make sure that we have it cleared out in the voting process. Yeah. Will and there's a question in the chat. Will they sponsor travel and accommodation for international folks? Like who? What do you mean, Abir?
I meant the Linux Foundation, like the Linux Open Source Summit, like, so are they also sponsoring it apart from like cutting the, what you said, the food delivery?
No, like, so it's, so how to explain it? Like, okay, so in Linux Foundation, you have I don't know exactly what's the name of the department or the team, but there's an event team, let's say. So there are folks that are like, their job is to organize events. Like if you go to the portfolio of Linux Foundation events, like there's a lot of different ones. And there are like folks that handle that, and they have deals with different venues in different countries, so they know where to organize conference in like cheaper, depending on the size of the event. So but basically, like, because we don't know how many folks will come, and we need to have some like limits and also like save on costs. The thing is that the folks behind Linux Foundation event team, they will just together with Open Source Summit, the work they do for Open Source Summit, they will combine it with work for AsyncAPI Conf. So it's only so it's so they are not sponsoring travels. It's more about like sharing costs. So we anyway, as AsyncAPI, we will have to pay a few $1,000, definitely, but it's gonna be much less than if we would have to organize it on our own in a independent venue.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So any ideas on the voting?
I think we can just ask first that whether it's to be online or offline for current audience in the Slack community, and based on that we can proceed further.
Yeah.
Isn't it already decided like that it's a combination, more or less?
No, that's the like, we don't have to combine the event. Like we can be ambitious and we can still try to organize it on our own, like we planned on Canary Islands. We were pretty successful in getting money from the sponsors for the online event, and I think for in-person event we can collect more money, because in in-person event We can have like sponsored talk. We can have some booths and other things that that would enable the sponsors to like give more money in favor of this benefits. So we can try to be bold and try to organize it on our own, definitely, but it's just gonna be harder for sure for the first time. It's hard to decide without really knowing the number of people that will come. Yeah, definitely. And like even if we really send a survey to all the folks, like let's say that are subscribed to the newsletter, and people will answer, and but we still are not really sure how many people will come really.
Exactly. And also we don't need 100 folks attending, or more than 100 or 1,000, 2,000, right? Like
yeah, that's why, like, so for example, I'm a fan of this approach with Open Source Summit, because like I don't think anyone expects from us, like at the end, like AsyncAPI, it's an open source initiative, right? So we're not selling anything, so we don't have to have like successful event with thousands of people and whatever revenue. I don't think we should even like assume that we earn something on the event. We should, like, the best is if we balance like the costs. I'm not sure how to say these words in English. I'm not good in talking about budgets, but like, you know, that we have some spendings, but the income from the tickets, for example, it like we're balance zero. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We're not losing. So like for me, like the open source conference, like for us, it's investment in the community, like giving back to the community, and not something that we want to earn money on. So it's okay, I think, to do it minimally.
Yeah,
first.
I was also thinking for more about the reach that AsyncAPI can have via online versus offline, and agreeing to that, what you said just now. Yeah.
But just remember, it's hybrid approach. That's what community voted up for. So it will be both online and in person. So there, like Linux Foundation, they already organized a few events last year where they had hybrid approach. So like you basically have a camera person in the room that is broadcasting live. We can even have a like questions from the audience that is watching the event online. We can have them passed to the speaker, so that these things can be covered. And yeah, definitely, I would be. I don't think we should do only in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely online will not be the same as in person. Like, yeah, you won't have this option to talk to people after the presentation with beer in hand or a coffee.
Yeah, getting point. Yeah.
Sergio wrote, the other option would be to stay small, like rent a small venue for a few hundreds and limit the number. Yeah, exactly. So so like Sergio wrote, like and I didn't finish my thought, I think, like about Open Source Summit, like have it on lower cost as much as possible, and 150 spots, I think it's really enough. It's really enough to at least see the interest. Yeah, definitely. Poland would be a nice place. But Dublin is, I recommend, as a place to go for a conference. Definitely not my village. But like Sergio, you live in Barcelona, so we can go to Barcelona, right? To your place. But yeah, and what do you think? Like, I'm actually really interested with your thoughts about it. Because I was thinking that to organize first in-person conference, like we're not at the stage to organize few conferences in different areas of the world. I think we're at the stage where exactly we have to do something small, once a year, and then scale next year's. And I was thinking like that we should look basically on the amount of people that are in the community, active in the community, and then try to estimate like if like for example, what I see, let me maybe explain it differently. Like from my experience, what I see is that like the most active, like the most active folks in the community, the most contributing folks in the community, it's Europe and India. And then of course we have a few folks from Americas, we have a few folks from Africa, but yeah, mainly it's Europe and India. So I, for example, assumed that the conference should not go anywhere else. Like it should definitely not be organized in anywhere in Americas, because doing it in Europe or India, we can be much more confident that more people will come, especially if we have one of the conference day is a contributor summit. So what's your take on it? Two places simultaneously. But like
we can
days?
have yeah, like not on the same day, different days. Sorry for that word, simultaneously. Like we can have different set of speakers, and based on that we can just give them slots whether they want to go to India or whether they want to go for Europe and take a session over there, the conference.
Yeah, and just we need to take into account that we're doubling costs, definitely. But
I guess for India it will be much cheaper because of the PPP, purchasing power parity over here.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Because like the PPP scheme over here, like for India, it may be much cheaper than in Europe or somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I have to admit, I'm scared if I would have to think about organizing two events. That's
yeah.
that's a hell of a work.
We can think about it later on. Let's focus on one then.
Yeah.
Or Abir, have you thought about doing a meetup instead? I know Dave was doing starting a meetup. Maybe you want to start a in-person meetup in India for AsyncAPI.
I'm not sure. Currently, the situation is a bit uncertain over here. A lot of COVID cases going down the line in Bangalore and all those the IT area of India. So not sure about in person, but online it's possible.
You could do a meetup online. So you just use Meetup as the platform to, inform people of your upcoming events. And then you include a Zoom link in the event information. And so people just do it online.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have few plans in the coming months regarding this, like organizing some event-driven architecture conference, EDA conference, something like that. So, and including AsyncAPI and that something as a part of it for with student developers and junior developers. So yes, that can be a part of it, right?
Yeah, then you definitely have to sync with Dave, because he's also like have few community members,
Hmm.
community members interested in organizing like meetups, not AsyncAPI meetups, but event-driven architectures meetups. And looks like doing first in India would be.
Yeah, like
super
Souvik and
interesting.
me were planning for it. Like we were like batchmates, so that's why. Souvik, the maintainer of CLI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
I'll let you know about it. Yeah.
yeah, that would be like I would love to join.
Yeah.
Especially that we have a lot of contributors from India, so we should also pay back and
Exactly.
and be present there. Cool.
I'm going to drop a link in the chat of Dave talking about how he's going to be handling remote meetups for what we were just discussing. And then I think he's calling it apparently event catalog. So I'm going to drop that link in there too. And since you have his Twitter, you know, and you can also reach to him on Slack and plan with him.
Sure. Thank you so much for this. Yeah, I'm following Dave. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I'll talk to David and have a sync up with him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So can we summarize? So I would write down first of all, what options do we have? Like what are pros and cons of Open Source Summit? And then like, so basing on the concerns from Jonas, then as Abir said, like I'll drop a message in general, and I think people will forgive us if we use channel annotation to ping all the folks to voice out their opinion. Probably some will not be happy about it, but I think it's pretty important. Like, not sure if you noticed, but I'm when I'm speaking, I'm looking at Jonas' face and I'm adjusting my message based on his reaction. So I think it will be okay. Like, do you think it's not going to be okay if we ask all the community members if what they think about in-person event? Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, not, there are sometimes always people that are not as happy as others are. Thanks for the thumbs up, Jesse. And then, like, depending on how it goes, like if there's no clear answer, we definitely have to also ask separately the technical steering committee members, because AsyncAPI TSC are the folks that control the budget. So we definitely need to check with folks if they are okay if we secure some of the budget that we already have on Open Collective. Okay, so I just have to remember about it and drop the message to Linux Foundation as well. Okay, so two questions more. Doesn't matter on the venue. There's a lot of work to do around the AsyncAPI conference. And my question to you folks, like, because last year I co-organized everything around the online conference offline in asynchronous way. But this year I'd like to have, like in case of specification 3.0, I'd like to have some checkpoints where folks that are most involved in work for the conference join, and we like basically share the workload and also consult some solutions. So do you think we need a dedicated conference meeting, or I think it's okay if we use this public meeting, because we already have it scheduled every 2 weeks, and we can always have like 20-minute slot or something to talk about conference. What do you think? Like, would you like to have something dedicated, or
I think it
just
depends
reuse?
on how complex you want the conference to be. Because if you want, for example, let's say you want to schedule, or not schedule, but create something where users or participants of the conference can use Async API in something like playgrounds, and you can do this or this and whatever it might be, that needs a little bit more preparation than just a conference, then maybe it would be a good idea. So I don't know, maybe.
But would be a good idea to have a separate meeting, or do it at at this community meeting? I didn't get your recommendation.
Because it depends.
Okay. So let's do it like with Spec 3.0, I would say, where we choose to do it every 2 weeks, and then we check if it's enough. So so let's just make sure that every 2 weeks, whoever is interested with the conference, just remember that we have this community meeting where we can sync. And in a month, if we notice, it should be separate, dedicated meeting at 1 hour fixed, not like this community meeting, then let's switch.
The conference talk issues, discussions, etc. Do we want to have a specific repository for it?
That's
like, how do you keep the conversation going?
That's a good point. Like last year, we had all the discussions in community repo. We had dedicated categories, but I don't know how to clean it up, and I'm afraid that we're gonna have a lot of mess there. I seriously don't know like how discussions work. I don't know what to do with those open topics. I can't close them like issues. So probably separate repo, like in the conference website repo maybe. But yeah, let me just write it down, and let's continue talking about it. And also I don't remember the other question I had. It was about okay, it was about but we have only Jesse here on the meeting, so probably we have to talk about it offline with more folks. Like we definitely need more support, or like more involvement from companies that already sponsor AsyncAPI, because I bet like maybe at least I bet personally, but I guess that like Solus and maybe others, like even Postman, would be interested to be a special sponsors, where in exchange we give some sponsored talks or things like this, right? Like, or swags with logo of the company. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd probably be in line for what we've done in the past. So.
Yeah. Okay. So we just need to stay in touch and keep chatting about it. How we can do it. Okay, 2 minutes left. Any questions?
I have a quick one.
Okay, cool.
You know me. Do you have any specific knowledge or tips you want me to be aware of before I apply to Google Season of Docs? Do you want to see my application before I send it? I just want to make sure that I do it the best way.
The only tip and trick I can tell you is I applied for Google Season of Doc a few years ago with different project. We failed, and I know that we failed because one of the factors they take into account when they choose organization is how happy the organization is to apply, basically. So when we applied, we had no blog post about it. We had no dedicated Q&A website where people could learn everything about our application to Google Season of Docs. And they pointed it out in the feedback. Like they said, like others have dedicated blog posts, like articles about like why AsyncAPI wants to be in Google Season of Docs, what we offer, etc., like a proof that we that it's something special for us, which is, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. So that would be like, we need to write some article about it. I guess should be enough.
Oh, I see. I have a new blog post I need to take care of then. Yay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Or something different. Like definitely, I'm gonna send you a link to more details about Google Season of Docs, because yeah, when I applied, it was like 4 years ago. So also rules might change.
Yeah, I'm already here in the application section. So I'm gonna look at it and anyway, yes, cool.
Okay, cool. So yeah, thanks a lot, folks, for joining and participating in this super uncomfortable for me discussion, because I have no clue how to decide on these things. So thanks a lot for your input, and let's keep chatting. Aloha.
Yeah, but